Okay, I'm going to bring the meeting to Lawndale City Council to order. I'm going to ask the Madam City Clerk to give us a roll call, please.
Okay, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Kearney.
Here.
Councilmember Cuevas.
Here.
Councilmember Suarez.
Present.
Councilmember Talavera.
Present.
Mayor Poland Miles.
Present.
All members are present.
I didn't know if I was here or present. Okay, thank you, Madam City Clerk. Okay, the ceremonial portion of our program will be conducted by Pastor Jesse Posner from the Restoration of Life Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be sponsored by, given by Frank Talavera. Councilman Talavera.
Please rise. Right hand over your heart, ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay. Please remain standing. Is there someone going to?
Yeah, Pastor, there you go.
Well, thank you for the privilege of being here. My name is, as you heard, is Pastor Jesse Posner. I have the privilege to be one of the assistant pastors at Restoration Life Christian Church alongside my wife. Pastor Eddie, our lead pastor, he regrets that he cannot be here, but he sends his love and he wants everyone here to know that he's praying for each and every one of you and for the work you're doing on behalf of this city. And I just wanted to share briefly before I pray about the work you're doing and the positions you're in. You know, I know that sometimes people say that leadership, especially at the local level, is a thankless job, but Restoration Life wants to say thank you. We're honored that you have answered the call and that you served this great city, and we think this way because we're reminded of Scripture. In Romans 13:1, it says, "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God." You see, God himself has appointed you as his servants, entrusted you with authority to serve the people of this city, yet always under his ultimate authority. And that's key, because in the Bible we see example after example of kings doing things on their own authority, disconnected from God, and it's bad for the nation. And then when they were connected to God, they flourished. Because under his ultimate authority, God ministers through you to us. And so you're here for a purpose, and you're here for a reason. The question is, will you honor God with it, and by doing so cause God's blessing to be upon this city? John 15:5 says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit, and apart from me you can do nothing." In Proverbs 11:14 it says, "Where there is no guidance, a people fall, but in abundance of counselors there is safety." These truths remind not only the individual, but all the leaders that true wisdom, strength, and lasting impact come from being connected to God. And when we lead in partnership with him, we bear fruit that blesses this city. But when we are disconnected, our efforts may be full of motion, but they're empty and meaningless. Because your work truly and deeply matters. Your decisions you make, large or small, they impact families, children, businesses, and futures. Because you're not just maintaining a system, you are shaping a city. So it is Restoration Life's prayer that you remember that even if you think at time that this is a thankless job, you're doing it for the glory of God and his people, and you will be rewarded by him. And I pray that you are strengthened with wisdom, that you're covered in peace, and that you carry this responsibility, that you would know the support of the people, the grace of God, and the hope that you are truly making a difference. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening, for each and every one gathered here, our mayor, council members, law enforcement, first responders, and all those who serve this city. We acknowledge, Lord, that leadership is not easy, and yet you have appointed them to guide and protect this community. Your word in John 15:5 reminds us that you are the vine and we are the branches, and apart from you, we can do nothing. So tonight we ask that you would be near, guiding every discussion, every decision, and every heart. Grant wisdom where clarity is needed, courage where there's hesitation, and unity where there's division. May this council be led not only by policy and principle, but by compassion, conviction, and your word. Let their leadership bear fruit that blesses the people of the city. May their work reflect your justice, mercy, and truth. Cover their families, renew their strength, and remind them that they are not alone in this work. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Okay, let's hear from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Let's hear from Captain Nicole Palomino, the Public Safety Report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, esteemed members of the City Council and members of the community. I'm Nicole Palomino, the captain of South Los Angeles Station, and I will be presenting the Public Safety Report for July 21st through today, August 4th. And I will begin by discussing our notable arrests and investigations. So on July 27th at approximately 8 p.m., Lawndale and South Los Angeles Station deputies responded to the 7-Eleven at 15805 Prairie Avenue in Lawndale regarding a gunshot victim call for service. Deputies arrived on scene and discovered a male Hispanic adult suffering from a gunshot wound to his chest. Paramedics from the Los Angeles County Fire Department pronounced the victim deceased on scene. Video surveillance footage from inside the store depicted the victim and suspect engaged in a physical altercation prior to the suspect shooting the victim. The suspect fled the scene in a blue Honda SUV and is not believed to be in Los Angeles County at this time. The victim and suspect are both residents of Lawndale, and they were neighbors. And then on July 16th at approximately 1 p.m., detectives from the South Los Angeles Station narcotics crew executed a search warrant at a residence near 157th Street and Larch Avenue. A large quantity of narcotics was seized from the residence, and one suspect was arrested for various felony narcotics violations. And then regarding our traffic-related incidents, Motorcycle Traffic Enforcement Deputy Morales issued 23 citations during the reporting period for various vehicle code violations such as failure to stop at a stop sign, failure to stop at a red traffic light, and speeding. And lastly, I would like to invite all Lawndale residents to join us for National Night Out on tomorrow, Tuesday, August 5th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Lawndale Civic Center Plaza. Come enjoy the evening with refreshments, vendors, display booths, and games alongside your local law enforcement and first responders. And this concludes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions that the council might have.
Are there any questions of the captain's report? Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from Assistant Fire Chief Brian Kane from the Los Angeles County Fire Department.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. Assistant Chief Brian Kane, Los Angeles County Fire Department, with your public safety report for the month of July. There were 216 total responses for the month. There was 2 fires, one being a vehicle-related fire and one being an RV or mobile home fire. 157 calls were for emergency medical services. 92 of those calls were ALS in nature with life-saving interventions performed by our paramedics. We had 6 responses for our APRU in the month of July. And we will also be in attendance tomorrow night for National Night Out. Looking forward to seeing all of you. That is the end of my public safety report, unless there's any questions.
Okay, are there any questions of the Assistant Fire Chief's report? Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, we're now on oral communications. Oral communications is when you have the opportunity to speak to this body on items that are not on the agenda. If you would like to speak to this body on items that are not on the agenda, we ask that you line up by the flag. When it becomes your turn, simply walk up to the podium. We ask that you begin with your name first. At about 2.5 minutes, the amber light will come on that screen to give you the clue to start wrapping things up. Let's have our first speaker. Sir.
Thank you, Council. My name is Jed Behar, born and raised in Los Angeles. I want to encourage Lawndale to be a city where families feel safe. No one should fear ICE in our community. Let's focus on supporting neighbors, not deporting them. Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to speak here. Quick positive note. I love how Lawndale feels like a real community, where neighbors look out for each other. But I also know neighbors who are afraid to go to the park or to the store because they fear ICE. That's not the kind of community we want. I'd love to see Lawndale take steps to show we're safe, welcoming city, where law enforcement is focused on community safety, not immigration enforcement. As a friendly close, we all want Lawndale to be a kind of city where the only ice we worry about is our iced coffee this summer.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. I didn't get his last name. Jed. Jed is his first name. Jed. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Council and Mayor. My name is Javonda Jones. I am a contractor from across the street. I've been there for about 14 years now. I am here to talk about a special event that I want to host in the city of Lawndale, being that this is a community that I was raised in. It is a lupus family and friends walk to spread awareness about lupus and to how the family members and friends could support the person that is suffering from lupus. I'm here just to ask for support in sponsorship or partnership in location. I do have other sponsors for like things, and we do fundraise for things, but we are just looking for a location. And I did choose Lawndale because I am a part of this community, and I would love to host it with all of my students, families, and people I've had connections with. And that is pretty much it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And by the way, those who are new to the council comment period from the public, we will comment on your suggestions after everyone has a chance to speak. Dr. Holly
Good
Mitchell.
evening. My name is Holly Osborne, and I live in Redondo Beach, but it's only a block from Lawndale, and I'm a retired engineer. And for 40 years, I caught errors in specs, and now I'm doing it for the Metro plans. So, our decision, or the board of directors decided what the locally preferred alternative would be back in May of 2024. It was not your choice. It was not Redondo's choice. It was not Hawthorne's choice. But they decided on the row. And then, after that, they basically made that decision on cost. But after that, 2 or 3 months later, when they're deciding for other projects, they're introducing all these other equity, justice criteria, environmental criteria, where they redline, and so forth. And so I have looked at maps and other algorithms. In fact, they said they were going to develop an algorithm. So I'm not going to really talk about the red line map, but you've seen it before. Lawndale was redlined. They said if you were redlined in the past, we're not going to basically give the shaft to your community again. Lawndale was totally red. And I think if a red, you guys should be able to choose what you want. Okay, now, the Daily Breeze 2 weeks ago had an article about tree equity scores. And there was a map just like this. I got the tool and regenerated the map. And the more orange you are, the more trees you need. So we should not pick a row or pick an option that takes away the trees. And if you look at the back, there's the scale. Really bad. Orange is the worst. And Lawndale is, you can't get any more orange than this. And you can all see it. It's not marked, but it's below Hawthorne. Their score is 68. And anything below 70 means you really highest priority in getting trees. And I don't even think that Metro has seen this yet, because the article in the Daily Breeze was not really about Lawndale and its choice. It was just, this kind of map. But I intend to give a speech, like I always do down there, and make sure those guys see these maps. They are trying to develop algorithms. They've actually got the algorithms. And if you've got questions about it, I can give you the code link, and you might go crazy doing it yourself, especially if your eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I gave out 2 handouts. I'm a teacher, so going to go over them, but the first thing I wanted to make sure that I shared is that we got together with our neighbors on Saturday and Sunday from 1, it was supposed to be till 4, went to 6, and we talked to over 300 community members who basically had no idea what was going on. Some had a little bit of an idea, but they didn't know that, hey, in another month, you could have bulldozers and tractors and et cetera on, right in front of your house. It's interesting, my daughter was out there, and Chelsea had to describe to her or tell her what NIMBY meant, and she was confused because she said, well, this isn't our backyard. For a lot of us, it's our front yard. So how does that work? And sometimes it's 25 feet from our a door, okay? So it is unfair, and I'm actually finding out from Dr. Osborne about the tree equity scores, which is why I sort of reformatted it, but you can still find it out there. The one I have basically has highlighted some of the things that I thought were interesting, and so I'm hoping you get a chance to look at that. Also, we gave out brochures, trifolds that I gave you before, both in English and Spanish. So what I've given you, the first part shows you, this that maybe you've seen before. This is the first page. And then the second page is our letter to neighbors, basically explaining that we are your actual neighbors. It's in English and Spanish. And we found out that we were sometimes speaking to people who were even more marginalized, at least linguistically, or isolated linguistically, speaking Arabic and Vietnamese, and we just were kind of doing our little pantomime, trying to figure out how to tell them what was going on. There is a lot of misunderstanding. One is that, they'll just add more trains going down the same track. They're going to share the track with the metro. And they didn't realize that there are 3 tracks, and they're going to rip up everything, and they're probably going to have to block off Condon in order to do it. And oh yeah, by the way, a lot of people's front address is Condon. They will have a very hard time getting into and out of their literal front doors. So I'll have more to say about what I found, though, when we're working with some of our environmental partners about some of the poisons
Time's
that are
expired.
associated with railroad tracks.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Matthew Harbison. Not necessarily putting my foot in my mouth, but I was asked a little about last time I spoke about my friends who sometimes called Lawndale the trashy city. And part of that was because in some of the other cities, they have the clamps that grab onto the trash can and then drops it into the truck. There isn't a guy who gets out. And so in many of those cities, if the trash doesn't fit in the can, then it doesn't get picked up. And if you drive around the Lawndale streets, you'll see bags and things. It's piled. It's almost like rodent havens in various areas. And so when people drive through and they see the style in which our trash is picked up, where people are just dropping things on the side of the road and people are having to then hoist that up, or in some cases where it's large items that have been there for days and weeks, and then we have to have the city yard come out and clear that. It's kind of perhaps the people of the city aren't aware of what they should and shouldn't be doing. I don't know if there's any wisdom that can be passed to them. I don't know how many people are watching these events or how many people read the mailers that go in. And there's a lot of misinformation in relation to what LA County recycles versus what Western Waste or Republic or Anthem or whatever the various groups are that contract out. And some of the stuff that is in our recycle bins are actually not recyclable. And it's a recyclable item, and it has the recycle item on there, but it doesn't get recycled because our company doesn't recycle that type of material. And so I think there's just a lot of things going in our blue buckets, which create problems that are then going to be dumped into the black and then moved on. I think a lot of the residents are thinking they're doing their part, but really they're just making things worse, like where they're piling in all of the excrement into the green bins and things like that. So it's just, I don't think our residents really know much about the trash, and I think the trash company just kind of grabs things and moves along. If you've ever had a black bucket that you put out there, you don't get it back. It goes in the dumpster with your trash. So what do people do? They just leave black bags there. Sometimes they're tied, sometimes they're not. And so that's just where my clarification on why some of my friends call this the trashy city. It's just because it's when they drive by on trash days, it's piles of trash. And I think our residents might be trying to save a buck by not getting the bigger boxes, but as a result, we have more trash, and when the bins go up, trash flies behind them, and it's not great. So I don't know what we as a council can do about it, but it would be nice to see not that reputation of being trashy.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's close the public comments. Let's bring up the diocese for comments from the council. Let's start from with
Okay,
Tel
first
Aviv.
of all, I want to thank everyone for being here and taking part in this process. To the people that spoke, we have put out a memo, a letter regarding our stand against the ICE raids, and I think we should still continue to look for other ways to make our residents feel safe. I know a lot of them have secluded themselves and are not coming out, and I would just hope that the other community agencies, also like the churches, would provide some type of like food distribution to those people that are being that are staying home, and other ways to help them. The school districts can help out also. And again, it's like I've said before, you know, there's so many things that we want to do, so many things that, you know, publications that we could put out, but these agents apparently are not even honoring, you know, decent people with dignity. You know, there's no dignity, there's no respect. They'll just come up to them and grab them, and, you know, they just push them to the ground right away. So, and we've had conversations with the sheriff, you know, of what they could do. They verify who they are, and once that verification happens, then, you know, nothing else can happen after that. You know, I just hope that sometime soon things change. So I don't propose violence in any way, but it's like, how far are we going to be pushed? You know, and I would just hope that before something tragically, I mean, it's tragic what's happening, and even residents, even citizens are being caught up in the net. So it's, I just hope we come to some resolution quickly. Thank you for the young lady that talked about the lupus. If there's a way that we could help, you know, contact the city manager, and if we can do something, we definitely support any event that's worthwhile, any event that brings awareness to this disease. Just a month ago, a good friend of mine got the bad news that his wife was suffering with lupus, and she just had a fall. She just fell in the kitchen, and that was it. So, you know, if we don't have a direct experience with a certain illness, we just think, well, poor them. But I didn't know it was so fragile. But now it's brought an awareness to me that it's, wow, you know, so if there's a way that we can bring awareness to those that are suffering this disease or any disease, then I would hope that we would help out and support. To Holly and Annette, thank you very much for always bringing us worthwhile information that is valuable to us. Continue to fight, and as a city, you know, I want to do my part also, and protect the row, and make sure that that they choose the alternative and not destroy these homes and the green space that we have. For Matt, I want to say maybe we could offer some educational videos to the residents, something, we have to do something. And it's true, it's like, I think I've asked the city manager, what are the rules? Because down my street, they pick up everything. So, and I'm thankful for that, because it doesn't stay out on the street. And I remember when we were with another company, with the green trucks, you know, they would, anytime the lid of my trash can was slightly open, they would red tag it and leave it there. So, but my experience with Republic, they take everything. So, and I know maybe they shouldn't, or you know, there's rules, there's protocols to what can be picked up and what shouldn't. But I'm glad that they're picking up, you know, everything. So, so I'm happy for that. But I think, yeah, residents, as residents, we do need to be educated on what's allowable, what's not allowable, the different container colors and what they mean, and what can be disposed in those containers. So I hope that's a good suggestion, and maybe that could be a minute more. Dr. Moore?
I'll talk to Lucha. Maybe we could have Republic come down and do a presentation to the
Yeah,
council.
good, great, thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Suarez.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody that came out tonight. I think my colleague basically touched on everything. The one question I did have was about the municipal code and what the code states in terms of trash, and because I know there's certain rules about when you can put it out and whatnot. So looking at our agreement with Republic and what their contract states, and then also what our municipal code states. And then other than that, I did want to say, Jolanda, if you want to leave your information, send it to either of them to give more information about your event. I'd be really interested in seeing how we can support. Okay. Okay, if you can leave it with someone.
Yeah, leave
can
with
circulate.
the clerk.
With the clerk.
City clerk.
Okay. And with that, thank you, everyone.
Madam Cuevas.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. They both touch on those items that I was going to speak on. The only thing is, whatever happened with our meeting with Metro? I know we had BNSF here, and they couldn't help us, or they didn't give us the answer we were looking for. But I thought Metro was supposed to come out and talk to us about the row. This was several months ago.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We reached out to them several times, and they said due to staff being out, they couldn't make the several meetings we requested. We can follow up with them again and request them to see if they're going to come out and do a meeting. I have sent them several emails based on that ad hoc's direction to see when they're going to do more meetings with the row, with all the residents in the city. I've had several. I sent another email this morning, in fact, asking them about that, and when the final EIR is going to be out, because we keep hearing it's getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Now we're in the fall, and it was supposed to be out in summer. So I've sent the email to Metro, and I'll follow up with them again on the showing up to the council and see if they'll come down.
And the other question, or the other thing I would like to see is Consolidated about a year ago sent flyers to all the houses on what could go in which bin, if they could redo that this year.
So you mean Republic?
Republic, yeah.
Republic.
Republic.
Yeah, sorry.
I have Consolidated somewhere else.
Okay, so I'll follow up with Don over at Republic and see if we can do that, and then also have them come in and do a little presentation, so everyone can understand the bulky items, how they place them out on the curb, and then the times and the different bins.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, sorry. My question is, did they merge Consolidated and Republic? Because one of my trash cans says Consolidated.
It's both. They're both.
It's the same
Yeah.
one, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Madam Senior Pro Tem.
I'll answer
I did say
anything.
madam.
Thank you, everybody that came up to speak tonight. Dr. Osborne and Ms. Owens, I know Metro speaks with forked tongue. I attended I went to the new station with them, and I said, filling them out for information. They don't have nothing. And the station down there, the new LAX station, it's atrocious. You don't know which way to turn. But anyway, that's a different story. Matthew, I know, where'd they go? Oh, they are. The reason why we don't have the arms in Lawndale, the trash can, are the streets too narrow. They can't they take away parking for the street sweeping. Also, the trash cans, the only one we're charged for, if I'm not mistaken, Lucho, is the black one, the trash can. The green and blue, you can get as many as you want because they're not charged for them. Okay, but I think Grace could answer that question.
Yeah, I will have to confirm that.
And as far as the meeting with Metro Republic, they were going to have a meeting, but not to the public. It was just for the council, which I think is wrong. It was just for the council. They would meet with the council or city manager and staff. Lupus, young lady. I had a niece that passed away when she was 43 with lupus. We did a lupus run in Eugene, Oregon for her. And I know how bad it can be. She went through 2 transplants, kidney transplants. Her mother gave her one, her dad gave her one. So I'm on board, whatever you want to do, reach out to the city clerk, myself. My number is on my business card, pick one up anytime, and I'll help you whichever way I can. And with that, I think, Robert, that is all.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. Jed, it was Jed, right? Yeah, I want to let you know that, yeah, we did send, as the council member alluded to, we did send out our position on ICE. And we have it posted on our websites, and I assume everyone has it posted on their personal social media. I know I do, because we do want to keep everyone safe. And we don't want to cooperate with ICE, because when you cooperate with ICE, things can get out of hand, as you've probably seen on TV. So I just wanted to clarify that. Ms. Jones, thank you for bringing up the lupus sponsorship opportunity. I know you sent me an email, and I will respond, and I do want to help out. Matter of fact, I had a former colleague who had lupus in the state assembly, and she was out several days because of, often I should say, because of her lupus diagnosis. So I do agree that we need to bring awareness to the lupus. Dr. Osborne, thank you for always being a fighter for, or against, I should say, the green line /C line /K line. And where are you? I see you there. And thank you for bringing the attention about the trees and the red line issue in the map. We will continue to fight to not have it go down the road, because to have it going down the road, you know what? Just last week, I was out doing my walk, and I was engaged in a conversation with someone who knew about who was on the other side of the tracks, which was the east side of the tracks. And we got engaged in a conversation about the metro. And he thought, just like someone else thought, that they were simply going to be using the same tracks. And I explained to him, no, you're going to have 200 trips a day and 2 additional tracks. And so he was kind of on the fence about it, but when I explained to him, he would say, absolutely not. That is not acceptable. So thank you for bringing that out. And Anita, thank you, and members of the Justice Alliance for showing up at the railroad tracks this weekend, and for giving out literature and to make people aware of it. You guys have a captive audience, because when you go down Condon, it's a slow road, right? Not only because of the street need repaving, but because it's narrow. And so you guys, when I got home, my wife had one, so apparently she came down that street as well, right? So thank you for doing that. Let's see. We talked about Republic. And yes, in Republic, they do pick up all the trash. I had some neighbors that had trash bags, and then when I got home, Republic had picked them up. And I thought, well, you couldn't just put trash bags out there. So I never have done that before, even though there's been sometimes when my trash was full, I just kind of wait until the next cycle to put them in. But apparently they take it, everything. And I think they took the microwave that I put on the recycle bin, unless somebody else beat them to it. Okay, that's all I have. Okay, that's all I have. We'll close public comments and response from the council. Let's move our agenda. Let's move to our consent calendar. Item 3 through 6. What is the pleasure of this body concerning such?
If there's no additions or subtractions, I'll make a motion to accept as written.
Okay, the motion's been made by Kearney,
I'll second that.
seconded by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, please conduct the vote. It just says type.
Sorry, slight delay in the system.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. For the consent calendar, the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we're at item G, a public hearing. This is a public hearing concerning building and safety permits. Let's have the staff report.
Good
Oh,
evening.
building and safety permit fees, I should say. Let's have the staff report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This item is the building and safety permit update for fiscal year 2025 and 2026. It is a public hearing item, and we're asking for the council to consider this item under public hearing. So the city and the county of LA entered into a contract for building and safety services. This building and safety services includes inspections, plan checks, issuance of permits, and inspections. So there is a fee associated with this service, and this service is all calculated by the county, and they gave us notice in Exhibit A that the consumer price index is going up by 3%. We did not update our fees since 2023. So under this item, it would be adjusted to market rate. For building and safety services, if the fees are increased to cover services for community development director, a building official, plan checker, civil engineer. So they provide services in the day-to-day administration, and this covers the cost of the service. So when the fees are increased from time to time, there's no subsidy for development of private improvements to properties. So the county in their fee schedule in Exhibit D, it shows there's various fees associated with the proposed increase. Some are based on valuation, like the building permits, and then some are based on individual fixtures, which is mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. In Exhibit E is the fees for the city in comparison to other cities that are contract cities. So we're a contract city. We depend on the county, which is a larger municipal government, for additional services. And there's a comparison between our fees and theirs. Our fees is lower in comparison to other contract cities. Staff is available to answer any questions. And staff recommends that the council conduct a public hearing to receive testimony about the city's building and safety fees and adopt a resolution approving the building permit increase along with plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and grading. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Okay, is there any questions of the staff before we open the public hearing? Okay, seeing none. It is 7:15. The public hearing is open. Anyone want to provide comments or testimony on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment at 7:15 again. The public hearing is closed. Let's bring it up to dais for some discussion. Anyone want to speak on this item? Or motion?
Sorry.
Suarez, thank you.
No, I was just going to make the motion. It's a pass-through costs, so I'll make the motion.
The motion's been made that we accept the recommendation.
I'll second that.
Second by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, will the council please vote?
For item number 7, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Item 8 is the award of contracts for a 2025 payment management system. Let's have the staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. In order for a city to receive state funds, the city must have a payment management system, or PMS, on file, and these are to be updated every 3 years. The current one at the city was prepared in 2022, therefore we need to update it this year. The Public Works Department released an RFP on May 28 for the services of preparing this update. On June 18, city received 4 proposals, and after reviewing them, city selected Bucknam Infrastructure Group to be the company that will prepare the update. Bucknam has successfully completed the previous updates for the city, and they provided the best cost as well. So these recommendations are to award a contract to Bucknam Infrastructure Group in the amount of $36,991 to update the PMS, and approve contingency of $6,000 in the event that additional data is needed. And that completes my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you for that report. Are there any questions of the report? Ms. Cuevas.
How often do we have to update these?
These are to be updated every 3 years.
Every 3 years?
Yes.
And do you have an idea approximately how much we paid 3 years ago?
I didn't review that, but they are around the same price every time, maybe 3% more with inflation, but they are usually around the same price.
Thank you.
Pat Kearney.
Lucho, the people from RMT, they gave you an invoice bid for $12,500? Is that annually, one time, what? The very last page in our agenda.
Yes.
And it says annual license fee, including all services, updates, and support, $12,500.
So it is misleading because it's the lowest price. However, that is just to enter in a contract with us, and that company basically provides equipment for the city vehicles and trains the people, our staff, and then we need to be basically on a daily basis capturing data and doing that. The $12,000 is to maintain the software, so it is an annual cost, but it's
not, it's just a support group.
It's a support group. We do the work.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, let's entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to go with staff recommendation.
Motion's been made by Kearney that we go with staff recommendation,
I second that.
and second by Talavera. Any discussion on the motion? Council, please vote.
For item number 8, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Next item is the quarterly finance report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the Q4 financial investment report ending June 30, 2025. As of June 30, the city has $64,388,210 plus $2,057,170 cash with fiscal agent held in trust for the Lawndale redevelopment tax allocation bond, $1,150 in petty cash, and $739,686, which are maintained in 2 retirement plans for PARs. The city continues to maintain majority of it cash is in LAIF and the city's checking account. We are very liquid with 81.65% of the portfolio in on-call deposits, 4.86% in short term, which are 1 year or less, 7.29% in medium term, which are 1 to 3 years, and 6.2% in long term, which is 3 to 5 years. Little bit about kind of the economy, what's going on with rates. The Fed, they have not cut rates yet. It's been about a year or so now. They've held rates steady. Inflation continues to remain high, so that's kind of what they're using as the reason why. We're still above 3% currently. The Fed wants to see it come down to 2% before they make changes. But in general, the consensus is that eventually later on this year, the rates will be cut. How much they will, we're not sure yet. The next meeting is in September. So they are, most economists, and there's they do polls and whatever, so they kind of predicting a 25% basis points to be cut. That's kind of up in the air right now, I guess, kind of depending on how data and that kind of stuff comes in. But besides all that, as always, we remain stable. Our investments are stable. We have not been affected by any of this. With the tariffs and everything that's kind of going on, we're stable with that. It has not affected us. And we continue to look for opportunities to help maximize our returns, maintaining safety and liquidity at the same time. And going forward, we're probably going to try to lock in longer term rates, just because if rates do start coming down, I want to be locked in at the longer term rates so that we continue to benefit as best as we can. And that completes my report. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Okay, thank you for that report. Are there any questions on this report? Okay, so we'll receive and file this report by unanimous consent unless there's objections.
Nope, I'm good with it.
Okay, so moved. Okay, let's go on to our item 10, notice of completion for CDBG project number 12 digits.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council members. I'm presenting the notice of completion for Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, projects 602482 or 87-22. On March of this year, City Council awarded a construction contract to Onyx Paving Company. On April 25 of this year, construction began for all the concrete work in advance of the paving project that we are going to complete this month. That project, the concrete work finished on July 24th of this year, and it was a successful project. We spent majority of the funds in making improvements, and it was successful, as I stated. Now the recommendation is for City Council to accept the project completion by Onyx Paving Company. Number 2, authorize staff to file a notice of completion with the county. Number 3, authorize staff to release the retention in the amount of $16,823.20 to the contractor. And that concludes my report. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, thank you for that report. Are there any questions on the report? Let's hear from Pat Kearney.
So we're having a savings of $24,679, correct?
Yes,
Goes back in this,
they are going back in the pot for the next year of CDBG.
and then item number 3, authorize staff to release the retention. That's only $16,823, so the contingency is $7,856?
The contingency that we had approved,
Well, there's nothing on it, so I want to know why there's a difference between $24,679 and you're going to put back into the CDBG, $16,823. That's almost $7,900 difference.
great question. To explain it briefly, a project, payments, construction project, the agencies are mandated to keep 5% of the payments for contingent, what do we call it here? Retention. And that retention is just payment money, but we retain it in the event that the project doesn't end up being successful or we need to hire somebody else. Now, that's the money that we're releasing, $16,823. The $24,000 that you are referring to is money that we didn't spend,
Right.
that it was part of CDBG funds for the consultant that does labor compliance, mandated also by federal. And that $24,000 goes back in our funds for the next CDBG project that's going to start soon.
So, because, maybe I'm late, but what is the $16,823 going?
That goes back to the contractor. Is his money.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let me make sure I'm following that. So are you saying that the 24,000 is going to be minus 5%?
No. We didn't use $24,000, which we are putting back on the CDBG funds. But by law, out of the payments to the contractor, a city, an agency must keep 5% in retention for different purposes.
Okay.
And at the end of the project, that money goes back to the contractor because it's their money.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that will constitute the final payment to the contractor?
That constitutes the final payment to the contractor.
Okay, got it.
Yes. Thank you.
Anything else?
Got it.
You good? Okay. What is the pleasure of this body concerning this item?
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion to approve is made by Cuevas and seconded by Kearney. Items 1, the request 1, 2, and 3. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, would the council please vote?
For item number 10, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Next item is City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'll be brief. Just want to thank the Mayor and Council for all your support. A couple weeks ago, we put together a big graffiti removal project. It was on the north side of Manhattan Beach, westerly of the freeway. We got an encroachment permit from Caltrans. I want to thank Public Works and the Los Angeles County Sheriffs for being there on duty, helping us with that big cover-up. It was a big success. I'm glad it was done. I want to, again, thank the council and the mayor and staff for getting that done. It was, we had taken that to court, and we didn't win, unfortunately. And it's in a tight little area, but fortunately, it was cleaned out from any encampments, and it went pretty well. In a couple hours, it was knocked out, all that graffiti that you could see along the 405 freeway. So I just want to, again, mention and thank everyone that was involved in it, and it was a great operation. And then I also want to thank, I know we had some challenges with Republic, but they did do a good job catching up. And so I want to thank Republic and staff and Public Works and all the staff that answered all the phones for the community. I know some of the residents were upset, but they did catch up within 3 days and get all the trash picked up. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, items from council members. Let's move on to 11, item 11, updates to the council policies.
So Mayor, Council, I'll grab this one. This came before you a few weeks back. We were directed by the council to bring this up and update the policy. This was brought to our attention. You know, over the years, the policy's been somewhat antiquated and out of date. It had some old uses on there and justifications for bringing it forward for recognition policy and requests. Attached, you have the original policy, and then you have attachment B, Councilmember Talavera's requests, and then you have all the red lines that we provided in attachment C. And as you can see, staff went through. Obviously, this is not the one and only. This is what we redlined out. You can see on the council policy, we've updated it, made it a little more looser, and allowing council to bring items forward for consideration, for recognition. If you have any comments or questions, this concludes staff's report, but you can see it's all outlined in red, and any type outs, strike throughs, and any changes. And this concludes staff's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who wants to speak on this item?
Well, I would just like to say that instead of looser, I would say more flexible. So I thank you for helping us out. And I think as our city manager pointed out, some policies are antiquated. They were good for back in the 50s, back in the 60s, 70s, but now we're moving forward. So as we look at the policies that are in place, we just have to update them. I know in the school district, I think it's every 5 years, the school board goes through policies to update them. So if we haven't updated a policy in over 30 years, then we're a little behind on schedule. So so I just want to say thank you thank you to everybody for supporting this policy, and I don't expect a barrage of certificates and proclamations and acknowledgments, you know, to flood the mayor's office or the city office. So I just think, you know, you have people here that there's times that we know of certain individuals, certain organizations in our city that need to be recognized, and this gives us the flexibility to do that. So I want to appreciate and thank everybody.
So is that your motion?
Well, if no one else has anything else to say.
I don't know if we need a motion for this one.
You have to
Yes,
adopt
sir.
it.
A motion would be proper if
Yeah.
the five of you were going to adopt the revised policy.
I'll second it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the motion's been made by
Yeah, I'll make
Frank
a motion
Talavera
to approve, yeah.
and seconded by Pat Kearney. Any discussion on the motion?
Just one
Okay.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do see it on the list, but we're keeping it to local connection, right? It has to deal with City of Lawndale in terms of these recognitions and whatnot.
That's correct, Mayor, Council.
Yeah. 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 Okay, would the council please vote?
For item number 11, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Item 12, amend the city council policies on use of city seals and logos. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So I'll be brief. This one's a little easier and less technical. So, and I've been, involved in this one too. There's been times when council members wanted to acknowledge CIF championships or some local group, and it's been challenging. The mayor is the only one that has his own letterhead. So staff revised this policy to allow use from a council member, subject to the mayor and city manager review, allowing the use of the city's letterhead, the city logo, not the city seal, because and we attached that for the council. The seal is the official seal. It has its in Rosendop on paper. I don't think everyone was talking about that. I think a lot of the council want to be able to send a letter using city letterhead with the logo. And I think that was the big thing. I've experienced that with the council members, and I think we're recommending approval, allowing that change, and that concludes staff's report. It's pretty straightforward. It's the city logo versus the seal. And since I've been here, I haven't seen any council member ask to use the seal. It's always been the logo, the official city seal, but the city logo on our letterhead. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Ms. Cuevas.
Thank you for putting this together. So we do have the seal, and that is only used by the mayor, correct?
That's the holy grail. That's for elections.
Okay, so because I was told that what's behind us, that's the seal.
No.
That's a logo.
That's the logo, and the seal's attached in the staff report, and it's usually used by
It's
the...
just the old-fashioned.
Right, it's embossed, and it puts it on the paper, and the city clerk usually uses that for something official, or the mayor. But what we're talking about is letterhead. I think a council member came in and wanted to send a letter to the football team.
That's what I wanted to use, because I could go online and copy that on a piece of paper, on an email, and send it out. So I just want to make sure that this is a logo, the other one is the
That's correct. And if the council authorizes today, we'll be able to give you the official city letterhead and put it on there in your letter or whatever, or council member, subject to the review, and that's it.
As long as we have the disclaimer on the bottom, we're okay to send something out.
Correct.
Okay.
Suarez.
Oh, I think Frank's next. He's one. So I'm two.
Okay, Frank.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify some of the verbiage in the fifth paragraph under staff review. Apparently, to me, it reads that we only get to use it under one certain condition, and that's when we want to oppose some type of policy. So if that's what this reads like, then I don't think that's the intention of why we brought it to the council. It was to give us that opportunity, like Councilmember Cuevas says, to be able to write a letter congratulating someone, or from the city council office specifically. We don't hold individual offices here, but we do have one office here that we all share. So that would be the city council office to me. I don't know if that's a correct interpretation or not, but I would think that we would able to do it. I said, so if a member of the city council desires to use a city letterhead, which includes the city logo, for the purpose of correspondence, taking a position on a policy that does not reflect the official position of the entire elected body, the city council. So is that the only, are we limiting it to that occasion only? Because if so, then I think this is not what we wanted.
So what our understanding from staff's and from the council and mayor's direction was to allow flexibility in terms of someone wanting to send a letter to CIF. If it's a policy that's like a position that the city needs to take, then that's not the intent behind this policy. So the policy is to allow flexibility in terms of allowing individual council members to send letters on city letterhead supporting a group or some nonprofit or some local, but if it's a policy, that would need to still come forward. Like, let's say the council wants to take a position against Metro and the Green Line. That would be something that would citywide policy and implications on picking a route, let's just say. So that would have to come forward. That's what I think the intent of that is. If you want to change the language where staff's not averse to that, if the council wants to update it and tweak it a little bit so it's clear.
Well, I just want to understand what the interpretation is as reading it. Because it says if a member, so I'm thinking the individual member of the city council. So if I wanted to write a letter congratulating high school XX for their accomplishments in CIF or becoming a distinguished school, would I be able to?
Yes.
The way it reads here, I think it reads that that I only have one option. The option is to take a position on a policy that does not reflect the official position of the entire elected body, and with the disclaimer at the end that it's only my policy. Or is my interpretation.
It's meant for policy-wide implications on the city letterhead, if you want to do if you want to pick an item, but not sending like onto the football team or Lusinger or Lawndale High School or some nonprofit or recognizing. So we can tweak it out a little bit if the council wants us to tweak the language.
I may be able to help. So a few minutes ago, you guys updated policy 2695, the recognition policy, and under section 3, I'm sorry, under section 3, that now says individual council members may submit a request for recognition utilizing city letterhead and signed by the individual council member. So that's positively allowed. And then the policy 6201 that you're talking about right now, subsection E allows for recognition material as referenced in policy 2695. So that's how it incorporates the ability to do that, to do a recognition without having to have that kind of language saying, yeah, this is just for me. It's fairly obviously it's just from you because you're the one signing it. Subsection D is simply intended to avoid what you get out there in the political realm where individual council members are asked, please sign something. And in the past, it's always been the case that we've had to say, if an individual came to myself or the city manager, we've had to say, you have to do that, but can't do it on city letterhead. Now you can say on city letterhead, I support this, I oppose this, whatever your preference is, as long as you have that language in there. So that's for, section D is for political, section E is for the recognition that we just adopted, or you just adopted a few moments ago. I hope that helps separate out the two, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone wants to speak on this item? Oh, let me get Suarez
Okay,
first.
you can, because mine had to start dealing with thoughts, and so I'd rather prefer to hear the input.
Okay.
and then-
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just a little confused because that is a seal.
No.
What is the logo for Lawndale? Because if you're talking about embossing,
Yeah.
seals are embossed.
Yeah.
That's a completely different thing. But I've looked on the internet to try to find something that is different than that is a logo. I haven't found it. So if it exists, I'd like to know. Because it looks like even in the language here, we're using seal and logo, seal/logo interchangeably. So I'm just concerned about that.
Okay.
Mayor, council, I'll explain it again. We have an exhibit. I don't know, I can put it out there. We don't have it overhead, but this is the official city seal. And it has a stamp on it. It's in the vet's office of city clerks.
Yeah.
And that's official, so that's different than the logo. What we're adopting here is allowing more flexibility, not looser, and to allow council members, and with the disclaimer too, if, like the city attorney mentioned, to allow some additional flexibility on some things.
Yeah.
Page is that on?
Ms. Suarez.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to, in myself, I think I see, though, what the city manager explained. I do want to make a distinction, however, between, I think, individual members versus the council as a whole. And I'm looking at the different letterheads, at least, for the different departments. And I'm wondering if, for example, when you look at the municipal services, it says Municipal Services Department. Would it be possible, and I think it should be really simple, just to put from the office of Councilmember Frank Talavera, or from the, I just think that might be appropriate. For me, at least, I think as a council whole, when we take positions, it goes through such a lengthy process that I think that should be distinguished. I mean, that's just my preference. I do think that the seal and the logo, all of it, I think is something that we should take very seriously, you know, and I just want to make sure too that, because from what I understand from a prior meeting is even when staff uses it, they're using it in their official capacity on behalf of the city. So it should not be taken lightly with employees as well when they write letters, you know, and make sure that it deals with the city. Because if an employee writes a letter that doesn't necessarily deal with the scope of their work, to me, it has the intention of, I'm going to use the logo to make it seem as though it's the city's business, it's an official document. So that should be taken very seriously by all of us. And so does staff also get training on when to use the logo and whatnot? Is that understood?
We have not done that. I mean, we could definitely look into that.
Okay, because I want to make the distinction that, you know, it's used in their official capacity, not on personnel letters or records, and that it's made in their capacity that deals with their work. So just want to make sure that that distinction's clear. And then I would ask that we maybe add to the letterhead at the very least, that from the office of such and such. That way it's clear, and I think it all gives us a little bit of flexibility in terms of distinguishing which official gave it, or if it has a disclaimer, this is, you know, does not reflect, you know, the entire council's position, unless it is something that we've taken a position on. Those were just my thoughts.
Okay, what is the pleasure of this item for the city council?
You looking for a motion?
Yeah.
I'll motion to approve, but could we add the suggestion that Councilmember Suarez made, where it says from the office of, and then the council member? Is that possible?
I think we could arrange something to where it meets that criteria.
Mhm.
I'm sure we could put, I mean, it's just a matter of putting it on the letterhead.
Just on the letterhead?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know if that's appropriate. I want to ask too, because
That-
you're the
no.
one that brought it forward.
That's fine with me. Just going back to my original intent is, would this allow me, like if I received a letter from the mayor of Inglewood, would I be able to reply to that letter and have the logo next to my name, City Council Member Frank Talavera, and give my reply? Or whoever would send me a letter?
According to the city attorney, yes.
Okay.
And that's a yes, it's a confirm.
Then I'm okay with it.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of this body concerning this item?
I'll motion to approve.
And I'll
Motion to
second.
approve by Cuevas and seconded by Talavera. Any discussion on the motion? Will the council please vote? Oh, okay, it's already up there.
For item number 12, the motion passes unanimously.
All right. Item 13, report of council members' attendance. Anything you want to share? Let's start with council member Frank Talavera.
All right, I wanted just to report that on Wednesday, the 30th of July, I attended the ad hoc committee on the National Hispanic Heritage Month Festival that we'll be having. Everything is moving along slowly. Pieces are falling into place. So I'm really excited and hoping that we have a very successful event. And and then that same day at 5, I attended the BizFed PAC Social hosted by the South Bay Association of Realtors. That was exciting, and it was good to meet new people, and so it was good. That was a good event. Friday on the 1st, I attended the Girl Scouts in Action Juniors for Seniors Activity Day. They had about 6 or 7 different stations for the seniors to engage with. And so it was very exciting. It was really good event. So thank you to the Girl Scouts, and thank you, Jason, for putting on such a great thing together. So I attended that, and the other thing that I want to talk about or just mention is that on the spreadsheet that we get for future agenda items, okay, I noticed there was a few things agendized or should have been agendized for today but weren't. So I just want to know what guides the agenda, what guides us to place things on the agenda? Because we have a list here, and only 2 things from the list were added, and I think there's about 12 items that we haven't. So I just don't want to fall back, and I don't know if we're trying to just stay at a certain amount of time and get out of here, or we're not going, or we're going to just keep postponing these things. So I just want to know what's the rule or what's the protocol.
So there's no hard, fast rule. We have a tentative date. We plan to put items on, but it just depends on if staff's on vacation, there's staff availability, like the 2 items that we brought forward. There was some vacation time and some missing staff time, so we got those 2 on. They've been backlogged. But we try to put on the items as they come and as availability of the research, whatever information we need to gather up, and then we pop them on when we have availability. And some of them need noticing, like the building fees needed noticing, so that got held up, and then research. So it just depends on, there's no hard and fast rule, but we are trying to put as many items on. We're not trying to overpack the agenda, so we're here until 12, but we're definitely moving the agenda along.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And please don't take the dates as hard dates. I'll talk to Yvette about putting on hard dates and to be determined.
Okay.
Okay, Councilwoman Suarez.
Just want to say thank you for asking that question, because I sometimes myself wonder certain items, like last year there was items that came forward that I hadn't heard about, but, got put on the agenda. So it'd be nice to have a heads up too. And I also want to ask City Attorney, if one council member and or the mayor is briefed on a topic, does that mean the whole council needs to be briefed on one or know it's coming forward? Because I know sometimes we have individual discussions, but if it comes to an agenda item, if one council gets briefed on it, does that mean the entire council needs to be briefed on it?
It's sort of a flexible issue. As you said,
Let me put it this way. If
Sure.
they ask at the very least, would it?
if you ask about items, you should get a briefing. The city council has a policy that written items from the city manager that go to one will go to all. And if one requests a briefing on something and it's written, then it goes to all. And the city manager, in my experience, follows that. I know I get a lot of emails that I'm copied on from the city manager, and some say one council member asked, and those go out. In terms of verbal, it is, I would say every single city that I've ever worked with has some council members who ask more questions in the one-on-one conversations in terms of getting more information, more briefings, and others who save their questions for a council meeting. So I don't know that there's a best practice. I think that so much of that comes down to how much is the individual council member asking beforehand. But certainly as the agenda goes out, there should at least be the opportunity for the council members to ask questions prior to an item coming in.
And just for clarification, does that include closed session items too?
Closed session items often get transmitted by my office, and so I will always say, please contact me if you have questions, and I try and make myself available, whether it's weekend or weekday. If I don't know the answer to a question, I would redirect it to the city manager because I think that's appropriate. But I usually try and get the information so we can have a privileged conversation about that.
Okay, thank you. Just curious. So the meetings I attended were the South Bay Cities Council of Government Board of Director meeting. One thing to note is that the Transportation Committee is looking at the Measure M funds and how it's allocated, and I believe they're going to move towards a certain percentage of the funds automatically going to all cities. That way, for those cities that don't really have projects, that they can apply for the funds, they can automatically get it, and then I think there's certain criteria for how they can expend them, or if they want to, gift them to another city or some kind of arrangement. So that'll mean more funds coming to us. And then the other meeting that I attended was the Homelessness Solutions Committee with Councilmember Cuevas, and we had a very robust discussion. I think it went longer than this council meeting will go, but it was very good things discussed. I think the partnership between the COG and the nonprofit is going to increase, and so there were a lot of things discussed, and I know staff's going to be working closely with those two entities, and we'll be doing it on a quarterly basis. So those are the two I had, and I'll pass it along. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Cuevas.
All right, the first thing is thank you to Public Works for cleaning the graffiti along the 405. It looks great. Hopefully it'll stay like that for a while. The meeting I attended was the Homeless Solution Standing Committee, which it was longer than this meeting. But I got to learn a lot more than what I thought I knew as far as solutions that we have out there, or St. Margaret's is able to help us with a lot of things that I didn't think they would be able to. So I'm glad that they're going to work with our staff in putting some programs together. I want to thank Dina and Randall for showing up, and you guys did ask great questions, because after you guys were asking, I was like, I should have asked those questions. But thank you for being there and sitting throughout the entire 2.5 hours, I think. But it was a learning experience. So our next meeting will be, I think, in October, so we'll be inviting you guys back. Besides that, I just want to inform everybody that I will not be at our next council meeting. I will be missing that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Sure, okay. I just want to see what name you're going to call me. I did attend several events. I attended towards the Affordable South Bay event that was put on by the South Bay Bike Coalition. It was informative, but nothing to do with Lawndale. I attended the local elected officials reception hosted by BizFed at the South Bay Association of Realtors, and I cornered the CEO of the South Bay Association of Realtors, the CEO, and I asked her to make sure that if you're selling a house on the roll, you disclose that the Metro strongly might be going down there. And she said she didn't know nothing about it, so she's going to check into that for us. I attended the ad hoc committee for the Hispanic Festival with Councilman Talavera. It is moving slowly, but it's a little faster than a turtle pace, but we're moving along. I did the invite from the LAX Metro Transit Center. Like I said earlier, it's a mess. I was totally confused. Everybody there was totally confused because they had buses this side, Uber or whatever, Lyft down here. But I guess by January next year, they should have the people mover. So that will connect with the station. It's a beautiful station. I think it's a waste of money, but it's beautiful. I did attend, I dropped in on the juniors to seniors special luncheon that Councilman Talavera was there. He ate lunch and won a prize, I believe. I saw a bag in front of you. The Girl Scouts are fantastic. And Jason, thank the Girl Scouts. You did a good job. Well, Darren did a good job. You weren't there. And then I also went to, this last Saturday, I was invited to the Pakistan Independence Day celebration at Wilson Park. It was amazing. I had shawarma beef, and my wife had shawarma chicken. They had booths that you wouldn't believe the gold they had there. So much bling. But it was, we enjoyed it, and that was it. Oh, and don't forget about National Night Out tomorrow on Lawndale Way.
Okay, National Night Out tomorrow night. What time?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay, I attended the BizFed mixer held at the South Bay Board of Realtors there in Torrance. A good time was had by all. A good briefing was had also. I also attended the Neighborhood Watch meeting, right? And so did Frank. And you was there for a second? For a minute? For an hour? Right, right. It was a packed house. It was packed. So yeah, we want to encourage everyone to come out to the neighborhood watch meetings. Mr. Director, when is the neighborhood watch meeting? When's the next neighborhood watch meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the question. Due to National Night Out, we didn't have one this month. The next one will be for September 17th, Wednesday.
Okay, September 17th?
September 17th, 6 o'clock at.
Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the community center. That's neighborhood watch. And that's all I have. Let's see. All right, it's time to adjourn. Okay, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Lawndale City Council will be held at 6:30 p.m. Monday, August 18th, 2025, in these here chambers. It is now 8:01. We are adjourned.